All right, hello everyone. So today is the 8th of November, Wednesday, all right? So this is what we've got. I put the Astro hours into the members area already. Now, yesterday, if you followed the Astro comments as well, I said the market should move towards that line there, which was lunchtime, but should come to a swing around that 3 o'clock. Okay, so from yesterday, as you know. And that's 3:30. That's 3:30 there. So 3 o'clock is there, 3:30 is there, and this is when the market started moving around. 3:45, 4 o'clock going up, and these are the Astros. And I did say it should flow into 7 o'clock, I think it was 7:45 my time, and should go sideways or follow towards closing, and that's what it did. It just did the swing, went a little bit of sideways, and then went up into the closing. So, what are we expecting for gold? Now, remember, with gold, we've got room to come down here, and I did say 1950 before. We made that target, as you can see, so the market should flow further down. So during the Astro hours, if the market should go back up again, I think a place where you can sell is going to be this equilibrium level. Or let's check out the daily if we've got anything. Well, 66 is a bit far out, but let's put it on there anyway. It's 2005. Okay, it's a bit out there, as you can see. 2005, all right, which is all the way up there. We can get rid of that. Also, if it comes back up to the previous day's high, okay, so this is where, remember, the market dipped down. So if it goes back up a little bit into where they sold off before, so this is the white zone, equilibrium between 70, let me just put a line there. Okay, so this is the zone there. All right, so if we get up into there, previous day's high, these are like levels where the market likes to test. This is where they sold off before, so going back up to sell off again is okay. This zone is even okay. Why? Because it's the swing market moved up, so the opening and the daily pivot, these zones are okay. As you can see, it filled in the gap that was over here with this bar here in the Asia session. So selling down, going further into the 1950s an option. This was from yesterday, as you can see, I already did that, so nothing to talk about. These targets still remain. On the daily, if you look at those 45 to 42, you'll see now 1951 to 43. Why? Because the daily chart is going to change, isn't it? So I've got now 1951, okay, and I've got 1943, which should be just there. All right, so this zone here pretty much. All right, so we've got room to come down, and this is how it should happen in any case, so we can fill in some gaps here. All right, and that's pretty much it. If you take a look at the weekly as well, you'll see we're at the tops here, so the market flowing down is the way to go. This is the bar we are on now. Okay, let's take a look at SP 500. With the SP 500, same kind of thing here. Remember, I said this was when the swing should happen, so the swing did happen and went up into that 7 o'clock there, as you can see. We had 7:45, which is 6:45 on the platform. Remember, due to winter time, the platform is now 1 hour behind. When we go back to summer, the platform and my local time will be the same. And that's the closing there. So with the SP 500 as well, remember this zone is a sell zone, so we do want to sell. And remember, I did say with the indices, if you take a look at your swing days, that for SP 500, for Dow Jones, and for Nasdaq, Tuesday was a swing day. All right, so if you sold the tops at the closing or around here, the time I actually gave was, yeah, around closing there. All right, so this is the zone there. So it's the market, as you can see. Market went up. If you sold at the top here as well, you would have been okay. If you sold here, you still should have been okay. If the market does come up today, selling again, I think, is the way to go. Since Tuesday was a swing day and it made a high, maybe we'll go up a little bit to retest, but in my opinion, this zone is okay. Now, one thing we have to be careful here, remember, the market broke out above the PST level. So this is a bit tricky. And also now on the daily, we see that we're above this level here. So now you have to be careful. All right. So selling on a swing day from these highs is okay. In my opinion, if we go back up a little bit, we can still sell off. Also, you could do this with your PST. I still think we're at the resistance level due to this. Okay, so if I was to actually draw a manual line, which you can do, okay, we're still, pretty much according to this here. Whoops, that's one level. And this is the other high. You can see the circle around it. Okay, so if I draw my own lines there, we're still in that resistance zone there. So if the market goes up first into Astro hours, then you can sell off. Today, as you can see, the first hour is going to be around 7 o'clock, which is there on the platform. It's 8 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock on the platform. And then we've got 12, which is 11 o'clock on the platform. So if we go up into lunchtime, which we should kind of like go up somewhere, and then we should start to look at changing at 3:50 my time, which is going to be 2:45, 2:50 around here, and then look for a surprise move until 5:50, 5:45 actually my time. Once that swing happens, there might be a bit of a surprise move, a stop hunting move, or a breakout, which I'm not sure about. And then there should be a push in the market, which should continue until at least 9 o'clock. Right. So this is why it's important to just put your lines up and see how the thing works out. So when you put your lines up, you can see the market bought from here before. So as you can see, that was an up move. So it comes down here. It's an Astro hour. Going back up is logical, and your stop loss is going to be just under that low. All right. So just trade accordingly. Putting a bit of common sense into it, where they bought before, where they sold before, and trade accordingly. Euro dollar, same kind of thing. As you can see, this was a sell zone. Tuesday was a swing day, and as you can see, Tuesday really was a swing day, and it really just like started and it just kept pushing down, down, down. I said we should come to a target by lunchtime, and the swing level should happen in New York around 3 o'clock, and this is exactly how it happened. The market went up into that bar there, that again 1 hour, the Astro hour, and then up again to closing hours. Now let's take a look at the euro dollar daily here. If we go back up again, selling I think is the way to go. Okay, at the end of the day, we made that target, so we should dip down a little bit more. The question here is, are we going to go up more? Because this is a 3 tap. You can see 1, 2, 3. So we should have like an A, B, and a C, right? So we should be in that A, B, and then moving down C kind of thing. So what I want to do now is just adjust this a little bit. Okay. And just do this. All right. This should be our line here. So if we're anywhere up on that Venus line as well, you can just draw your Venus line approximately like I've, because you don't have the Venus line, obviously. But you can just draw it from that top there, okay, which is like December 2020. And if you just, match it to that, you should be okay, right? If you just match it to this zone, just draw a straight line, you should be all right with your Venus line. And you can see this zone, it touched the Venus line and dipped down. So it's squared out, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if we just kind of like push up again, any pull up is an excuse to sell, in my opinion, during this period. On the weekly, like it's got room to come back down, and it's going to depend on how we close this bar as well. So according to the monthly as well, if this is like an A, B, if we go up a little bit more, maybe we could dip down. If I just do this, let's just see how far we can go back up. As you can see, it's done 62.5 retracement on the monthly. So that's nice and easy, where they pretty much filled in the gap, right? So selling again on any retrace up, I think, is a good idea, and this was also a good idea yesterday as well. If you sold on the closing or the opening, you should have been okay. We should come back further down, and those targets are going to be according to that PST. So that 42 level, we should eye it out, which is 1.0550. It's a bit down there, as you can see, 1.0550. So I've already put that there. On the weekly, what have I got? On the weekly, we've got that 43 coming into 40. So between 43 and 40, 1.0615 to 0562. So I can now get rid of this, move this down. 0615 is down here, which is quite nice to see. It's right in a zone there. And then we've got 0562, which is further down here. Okay, which is pretty close to that 0550. Okay, so if the market does go up, we should kind of like push in there. Now, on the weekly pivot, you can see the market got a good up push. All right, so there's bound to be some buyers coming in here. All right, and this might be like a good buying opportunity, which the market might think, well, we've closed the gap here on the daily, so we can move up. So that's one option as well. So be mindful. Don't sell at the lows. If we go up into an Astro hour, sell it off and cover the trade as we come down, simply because this is a good impulse wave. And you can see we've got here higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so this could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have an A, B, C down and then push up maybe. Or this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're still going up. Okay, so we've got to be a bit smart, but this was a nice sell zone, so if you sold off, you should have been okay. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq, Bitcoin. So in euro dollar, okay, so be a bit mindful because this could also be like a beginning diagonal. All right, so or not a beginning diagonal, but beginning 5-wave move up, which makes the first wave of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we learn in the wave analysis that we do. All right, so be mindful on that. If there's a good, powerful pullback, the market might start buying again, and they would do that on PST levels. Okay, so this is why I'm giving the PST levels. If those match Astro hours as well, you're kind of like good to go. All right, so let's see how this pans out with the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and Bitcoin. Remember the swing days on Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and SP 500, they all had Tuesday. So obviously Tuesday was a bit of a special day. Let's see how it panned out. Rightio, so let's take a look here. Dow Jones, right? This is Dow Jones. Now, Tuesday, like I said, swing day. So it made a high there, right on the dot there. So if you, let's get here, okay? If you sold here at the top's targets, you should have been okay. Now, this zone, okay, that doesn't look like an even top, so it's not a double top. So it's not an even top, so maybe it won't take out the stops. So we'll have to see how things pan out. On the daily, this zone now is, let's take a look. This is your LCL1 line, right? 34,206. 34,206. Right there. Okay, so this zone is also an Astro hour zone. If the market dips up, you can sell off. The opening is also okay to sell, all right, if the market is at an Astro hour. On the weekly, once again, remember we've got a breakout. So if it comes back down, I marked that in on Monday, so you should already know about it, okay? So on the one hand, this is a resistance. On the other hand, we've got a PST breakout. So what should you do? Well, first of all, you better make sure you match price and target for the selling. Okay, the market may still go up. We don't know. If it breaks out on a pullback into an Astro hour, this includes all indices, you can still push up. Why? Because we've got a good up move here, which the good buy kiss is over here, and the market can still push upwards. Okay, Tuesday, now being a high day here, I'd still try the selling. I would sell as well. Okay, because we've got even highs here, which the market kind of swept out, but it has kind of closed above that. So you've got to be a bit smart here. Market still has buying potential. All right, it has a buying potential. So you can use smaller lot sizes, or you can wait for a confirmed U-turn on a smaller time frame. Or you can just say, you know what, I'm going to keep the stops tight, make sure I come to the Astro hours and then sell off. Now, if the market goes down first, it will probably go up to retest and then sell off in the New York session, right? So, be mindful in the New York session, which is going to be like 3:45, 3:50 my time in that time period. And until 5:40, we're expecting a sudden move. So be careful during those time periods. All right. So if the market pushes down, then going up is an option. If it kind of goes up and sizzles up, and then selling might be an option. But remember, like I said, coming towards 5:40, I'm expecting a sudden move. I told you that before in the video. So, might make a sudden move, end up somewhere, and then start to sizzle down. Okay. The tops are always going to be a bit problematic, and the bottoms as well. Why? Because there's going to be distribution and consolidation, accumulation, right? So we'll have distribution at the tops. When the market's down, there'll be accumulation at the bottom. So there'll be like whipsawing, right? So this is why you got to sell the highs when you're selling at those distribution levels, and buy the lows at the accumulation when you're at the bottom. So always buying the dips and selling the tops when we're expecting a reversal due to swing days. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, right, once again here, it hit that target. Remember, I talked about this level before. That was that level before. And this is like a strong push up now. Okay, so it's a strong push up. And this is it, Tuesday. This is where the market broke out. So this is, on the one hand, market got up into that zone. If somebody sold on the Astro hour, if you take a look at yesterday's Astro hours there, if you're trading NASDAQ, okay, that's 5 o'clock, that's 6 o'clock my time. And remember, we had 425, okay, which is that bar. And then we had 545 on the platform, which is that bar. All right, right there. So this zone, and then 745 is going to be 645 is right there. So if you're sold around here and the closing, you should be okay. But like I said, be mindful now. Why? Because as with all the indices now, we've got this breakout. So the market might push still up. So be smart. We can also follow this up. So if the market comes down into a swing hour, like here on the daily pivot, okay, or on the weekly, what did I say? Well, weekly is here now, so that 56 level is 15,124. 15,124 is also a zone where the market might retest 15,124 down here. So if we come down first into an Astro hour to the daily pivot to this zone where the market broke out at the equilibrium, you can still go long. Okay. If it goes up first, then be a bit mindful and careful. Where you can go short is going to be beyond that. So maybe around here at 15,443. The gap's already closed up there. So if I just take the middle of that, 15,427. So 15,427 is also a zone, which is the middle of that bar. All right, so around there is also an option. Okay, if the market gets up there. Now, if it's pushing up this quickly, it's making a lot of gaps. So at the end of the day, this is going to fall off somewhere. So waiting for that bar is not a bad idea. You can just sit tight and wait. If the market goes up, sell in this rectangle here. And just above this, maybe they'll take the stops out here, pushing it up into that and then pushing down. All right. So that's also an option. Bitcoin, let's take a look. With Bitcoin, these days, like I said before, are also possible swings. Remember I said we might have a 3 tap, 1, 2, another one there. So if I drew that line there, if you're intraday trading Bitcoin, then what you'll want to do is sell the highs, okay? If it breaks above that, then you'll get stopped out with a tight stop loss. The market may still head up. Okay, we don't know because it's a good impulse wave, and this is a bit of a runner, but it can also be a 3 tap. So you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could turn into an ending diagonal. You'll only know that once it breaks down, and then a pull up is good to sell to push down. Okay, so this is going to be your whole resistance zone. And if you think about it, there's a bit of gap still out there around 37,250, which the market can make. Okay, but 76, which is 35,756. 35,756 here. I said yesterday this is not a bad sell-off. If you sold off here, you should be okay. You should have covered that trade in any case. And if you went long with it, okay, because I said this is the support for the day down there, and if you went long with it, that would have been like your 545, which is there, and then that would have been your 645 on the platform. 645 is that bar there. All right, so if you went up here, it would have been also okay into that zone. All right, so that's with Bitcoin. At the highs, I'm all okay to sell off and push down, being mindful towards that level there because of the gap. Okay, also if you take a look at this, let's do that. Okay, the market is pretty close there. You can also do this. You could do a double channel on that too. Okay, I use technical analysis all the time, and if you're following my trading, you'll see we're pretty much on top of our game with that too. All right, so this zone is okay to also sell at Astro hours. Just be mindful about this gap here that the market might close on the weekly.